got 25 minutes. We got to go.
Hey!
Hey, happy Wednesday, guys.
Happy Wednesday! And it's another episode on Say That Channel. My name is Janelle Villiers. That guy over there, that's Winston Broderick.
I think she's got it, guys. I think she's figured it out.
And we are both authors, entrepreneurs who are totally unapologetic. I thought I quit this. Totally unapologetic about the ugly come up of small business and entrepreneurship. So we love to talk about all the things that like people don't really talk about when they talk about growing a business. And we typically have 25 minutes to answer a topic of the day. And when we have guests, we run out of time because it's so good. And then we go into overtime with them. And so make sure you're one of our Patreon members. Say That Nation. Join us on Patreon. Support the channel there, as well as get amazing content from our guests who can help you to continue to build your businesses. And so today we are without a guest, but that doesn't mean the topic isn't going to be spicy.
No, today's definitely going to be a good one. Let's get into it.
Have you ever taken part in a Ponzi scheme? Have you?
Don't implicate yourself on here.
No, implicating yourself would be like, have you started a Ponzi scheme?
Oh, good point.
So let's talk about it. I think what's interesting about this is that for those of you who are newcomers to the show, Winston and I met through a network marketing company. Those of you who are not new to the show, you already know this. And so I think what's really funny is that a lot of people would be like, oh, is like network marketing, is this like one of those Ponzi schemes? Is that what this is? Not everybody, but like, No.
I mean, I've heard, to your point, in having showing hundreds of people the idea that we were a part of, I definitely had someone that did bring this up as his rebuttal to me. He actually called it that.
Yeah. It was really interesting. So those of you who are not familiar with network marketing, real quick, it is not a Ponzi scheme. Maybe we should define what a Ponzi scheme is so people will know if they've been in one or not.
Perfect. There we go.
So a Ponzi scheme, it is a form of fraud in which belief in the success of a non-existent enterprise is fostered by the payment of quick returns to the first investors from money invested by later investors.
Listen, your dramatics was good. I like the voice.
Otherwise, it's just, it's not as exciting. But yeah, that is the definition of a Ponzi scheme. Network marketing companies are not about that. I think the way people talk about their network marketing company, maybe like people get this vibe like, ooh, it's like quick returns and all that stuff. And so that's why they think it feels like a Ponzi scheme. But that's just
to your point,
not the actual industry. The industry is built on you have to do the work and market yourself and the products and build teams and all that stuff. So there is work involved and it's not quick. That being said.
Well, hold on. So actually, I do like that you did bring up just the actual comparisons to network marketing. We've had episodes, and maybe we'll tag it at the end of this one, but definitely go look through our library where we've actually discussed things you should actually look for when assessing a good network marketing company. So I do like that you do mention the quick returns, which is something that you should be wary of regardless of any company that you partner up with, how they may be over promising you how quickly you earn money. So just make sure you look at the comp plan. But I will point out to your point, Janelle, it's interesting that you mentioned marketing a product or something specific service. And we've heard, and maybe I know we got in later, but a company where they were pitching an idea. And I don't even know what that really looked like when they first started out pitching. I think I could call it dream trips at this point. Pitching that initial idea, because I know they talked about not having a website, not having any trips set up yet. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny that you talk about this, because I think of, depending on the stage your company, and I am going to say network marketing company more specifically, but even some investment company, when people are going to pitch ideas for like the investment companies, you are essentially going with like a blueprint or a dream of something that you'd like to create, right? Mm-hmm. And so you may get people who are like, hey, I'm going to return this investment. I'm going to return this much of your investment when I start out based on numbers that you have out. I personally think we have to be careful where there's someone who is legitimately working at something that may fail and your returns aren't paid back, right? and
Mm-hmm.
someone who, to me, sets out knowing I don't got nothing going on. I don't have any products. I ultimately don't have an idea. And then what they do is, however, promise you something and then employ this aspect of saying, hey, I'm going to pay you back this much money. But they're doing that because they're taking money from other investors. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I just want to, because I think depending on where you meet someone in their journey, it may seem like that's what they were building, but it may have just been a failed idea. People invest in things that just don't work out.
So what I was going to say is, imagine if Uber didn't work out, because in the beginning they were
There were a lot of soft people. Exactly. The great example.
Gary Vanderchuck says all the time. He's like,
Great
he didn't
example.
invest in Uber. He really
Uber.
wished he would have.
Yeah.
But like at the time, it too good to be true. Maybe felt, oh, okay, I don't know if this is really going to make it in the long run, right? Like, so I totally agree with you. There are both network marketing enterprises and I guess more traditional business enterprises.
Yeah, just as if anyone's out there pitching, we've taken part in a pitch competition before to get investors. So they're things. I mean, many people watch Shark Tank, I'm sure, on this show. Many of those people, again, they get to that point. Let me not use them as an example, because many of those people actually do get to that point. They already have tangible products out there. Many of them already have an established company and they're just looking for more investors. But there are people who I do know of who have just an idea, and then they're at their stage where they're like, hey, I'm at a startup. I need investors to even get this off the ground. We took part in that with Sean, with God, it escapes me, but you know what I'm referring to.
Oh, Hollywood.
Hollywood, thank you. There we go. Hollywood is a great example. Depending on what view you have of that, how it turns out ultimately, someone could have a very disgruntled view. It's like, oh, I gave this, I helped do this, and nothing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I do like this question. Great question.
So here's the thing, guys. We love to hear from you. So please let us know. Put your comments in the comment. Drop those in the box. If any of this is making sense to you, if you can relate to this, put an R. Let us know it's relatable. If this is brand new, put an N so we know it's new for you. And we're not the only ones who have some thoughts on this. We are actually going to lean into the yes. Well, I was going to say the wisdom and the knowledge of the gentleman from Earn Your Leisure. Rashad Bilal and Ian Dunlap have a new show through Earn Your Leisure called The Blackout, where they talk about really, let's just say, controversial topics. And so we're going to hear from these guys. They're definitely experts in investing. So I think there definitely be some good wisdom is going to come out of this conversation with them. All right, ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. What are the top Ponzi schemes in the world? Ponzi.
Number one, fractional reserve lending. So shout out to all the banks. I love y'all. I appreciate you. JP Morgan, Bank of America, let me Cape, Vanguard, protect me.
Talk about that.
Yeah. Like if a bank receives $1 in, they're able to lend out 10 more. And if any other business did that, I think it would be framed as a Ponzi. But for banking or institutions, it's not. I think it's part of the reason why we have a credit crisis in the United States of America. I know it's been put in the act by legislation. Kudos to the Federal Reserve. I want no smoke. But if any other business had one asset, but they took payments on 9 others, I think we would get in trouble.
True.
So that's one of the top ones. And we can go into insurance, but I don't want to upset the entire financial world. So I'm just lean on fractional reserve lending. I think there needs to be a change to that in the upcoming century if we're going to continue to have $2 or $3 trillion worth of debt in the U.S.
Yeah. We're spending money we don't
about
have.
You?
Man.
Yeah. I know you want to name a boy, but please don't.
Allegedly. Wow, the biggest Ponzi schemes in the world.
Music industry too. If we go do actual accounting on album sales and what artists are getting paid, like take the Kendrick Cole Drake beef out of that, right? How can art, like I saw a video of Keith Murray essentially being homeless. Not that Keith was the biggest artist, but he at least went gold. To move 500,000 units in a business, if you move 500,000 units, you probably make $25 million. Mm-hmm. How the fuck is he homeless now at 48 or whatever age he is? And all the stuff that's going on in that business, and like take Puff out of it, but Sugar's locked up. Jay Prince is quieter. They got rid of Irv. Iveen sold off to Apple. Geffen's quiet. We never seen a picture of Lucian.
Wow.
This shit is spooky. Like, and then they got their hands in Daniel's pockets at Spotify for 25% of the company, and nobody says anything.
Well, you know, the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world is, I mean, the economic system of the world. I won't even say America, of the world. Because if you think about it, no country really has their currency backed by anything tangible, right? So
It's all made up.
in a Ponzi scheme,
Yeah.
you know, you would give me money
Mm-hmm.
to invest, right? And then I would give you a set percentage off of that money while taking other people's money.
To invest.
And I get somebody else's. I get Troy's money, and I'm paying you a percentage of Troy's money with.
Yep.
And then it's an ongoing thing, right? And it actually works out. The only problem is when you want all of your money. When everybody wants all of their money. That's how the Bernie Madoff thing fell apart, right? During the Great Recession. Now he ran this thing for like 30 years, but during the Great Recession, people were stressed financially, so now they wanted to take lump sums. He didn't have enough reserves, and they collapsed. So I mean, if you think about it,
banks work the same way.
America, right? We print money. It's just a printing system, right? It doesn't really mean anything. It only means something because we have faith in the government, and it's backed
And
by
the military.
I was about to say it's backed by the military.
Yep.
But you'll never be in a position to actually withdraw all of it, right? Even if you go to the bank, you can't really take all of your money out the bank, right? You have to wait 5 days, and if you have, like, let's say, millions of dollars in the bank,
oh yeah,
you wouldn't even
make an appointment for an appointment.
You wouldn't even be able to get it.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying. So it's like,
wow,
this whole system is working off of debt, right? Wow. They're borrowing money, they're printing money that is not backed by anything, borrowing money from China, right? Not allowing you, said customer, to ever really access your money. It's just like, trust me, I'm good for it. I'll give you part of it. You give me $1 million, you can take out $50,000.
Yep.
The rest of it, just chill. And then they discourage you. Why would you want to take out all your money? That's a bad idea. Like,
that's how about some of y'all be getting finesse when you actually see that phone. Why you need to even see?
Even if, yeah, exactly. Now
Same move.
But even if you tried to pull out, let's say you put $1 million in your bank account, right? And now you go to the bank and you say, I want $700,000 in cash. Hey, you won't be able to get it.
You're not getting it.
And not only that, they will open an inquiry about
you'll hit
the FBI.
Oh, yes.
You'll hit the FBI radar.
Wow.
It's your money.
Wow.
Or is it?
Exactly.
Once it's deposited and they're the custodian, is it technically yours?
Exactly. That's why. That's the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world, and there's no alternative. What else?
I was gonna say there's no
hide the money under the mattress. That's not a good idea.
A lot of places not even taking cash.
Yeah.
So what can you do, right? It's like you're limited with your options, right? So it's one of these things, and it's like it's always a doomsday situation until it happens. In Greece a few years ago, during the Great Recession, there was a run on the banks. People wanted to, and what did they do? They locked the doors.
Yeah.
They closed the bank. They closed the bank.
Got armed guards out there. Like, oh my God, the markets went crazy. Swiss franc shot up. That was a big collapse that nobody really talks about. And it hasn't been a recovery since. And I keep saying, if you look from 2008, most of those companies did not recover, and neither did our economy. That's when we switched over to a gig economy. Like, remember when we were growing up, like, if you went to school, you were like guaranteed a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's like you have to make your own income regardless of how much education you have.
Say that.
But schools haven't stopped.
And it's one of these things that nobody ever thinks about. Like, oh, that can't happen over here. Like I said, I mean, it's not just a random country. We're talking about, a quote unquote first world country, right? That this happened to. It's not just some random country, a random island off the coast of, Antarctica. This is a established country. It's in the EU. And And this happened in modern time a few years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago. It was a stone's throw away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about
JP Morgan, Chase, Ally, everyone, Vanguard, BlackRock, Larry Fink. How are you, my brother? Come to our aid, please. I can hear our parents now. Why y'all talking about the banks? I know. We done.
That's a great way to end it, man.
Yeah.
I want to jump into this. So before you say, I definitely want to piggyback on just to add to what he said, even talking about how we were guaranteed a job. That definitely used to be a thing. I remember I think it was during the period when we were heading off to college, when they started to kind of transition out of high school diplomas were enough, and they were really starting to push you had to have a college degree. But it was one of those same things. It was like the college degree though almost guarantees you a job somewhere in the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was like somewhere. If you could at least walk in the door with a college degree, and I remember that's when a lot of people started going back to get their oh my god, there's this thing they used to give
GED.
GED. Thank you. There it was. All these people started going back to get their GED so they could go to move forward and get their go get a diploma and everything else.
That's so interesting. I went to private schools my whole life, and so there wasn't even an option
Oh, there you
to
go.
not go to college.
Well, that's what I mean. But that whole system
Way.
is set up to move you through. Yeah, you're being set up to move. I mean, everyone. My sister went to I guess whatever. There's a school. What is like Philippa Schuyler academically, like science schools? I guess they were.
Oh yeah, in New York they call them
There was a term for them.
yeah, because there's Bronx Science, there's Brooklyn.
Yes, the Manhattan one, Philippa Schuyler. Yeah. Needless to say, those are schools again, same type of thing. They were pushing this idea, magnet schools. There we go. It was you come here, your kid is getting into college, and people started lining up because they recognize again that's where things started shifting. So to get back to the actual what they had to say about the banking system, I mean, I've long said this, and they hit on this. It sucks because you don't know what to do. You know, you want to. A lot of people jumped into crypto because they're like anti-bank, and then there's a ton of. To me, that system still has a lot of flaws because you're trusting something on faith, and ultimately, we're putting our livelihoods into a system that you have no tangible anything. I mean, they really said that. Like if you go to a bank and said, "Hey, I need all my money," if it's over a certain amount, $9,999, they will report you to the federal government and say, "Hey, you can't. Hey, this person is trying to take their own money out. You should look into why they are doing this." And then you have to wait until that inquiry is resolved before they let you have your own money back.
That's so wild.
And again, there's reasons because a ton of people they're like, oh, but they're people who they're withdrawing money because their family is being abducted, so they don't want to give in to things like that. There's a whole slew of reasons that support why that is in place.
Yeah.
And multiple. There's so many people who are holding up that system who that is not their situation. They are not going to have. They don't even have $9,999 in their account. So the overall idea that you have to wait for money as a whole makes no sense.
And I mean, what happened in Greece, those people weren't trying to take out 9,900. They were probably just trying to take out maybe a couple hundred
and did not
and couldn't even get access to the couple of hundreds of dollars that they had in the bank,
Guys, to me, the best movie that's ever depicted, and I know it's not a technical, but it's A Wonderful Life, where he's standing in the bank going, your money is at John's house, your money's at Paul's house, your money's at Susie's house, because that is how banks work. Your money is in your neighbor's homes because they come in there for small loans to do a ton of things. It's insane, and they haven't even talked about the fact that they charge you fees on top of. Like, how funny is that? You have money in a bank, and they tell you if you don't put a certain amount in, they can charge you another fee because they're holding your money for you. Yeah. And if you don't give them a certain amount of money, they can charge you a fee to hold your money for you.
Talk about a scheme.
Yeah, I know.
A scheme. That is.
Trying to think of a positive way to take this, but I don't know, guys.
I don't. I agree.
I really
This
don't.
one's hard. I think what to take away from this is to be aware, right? Like you just got to be aware. If you don't even know, you could end up in a position where you're outside of a bank with armed guards outside telling you can't go in for your money. And I'm not saying that none of us, like even being aware, will keep you from that, but just like, I don't know, like watching the times, like seeing what's going on. I think we just all need a better awareness of world finances in general. And even if that means you're moving it around your money
actually
to another country, I mean, maybe you should consider it, maybe we should have some money in the Cayman Islands or in the Bahamas, just in case, some Swiss bank, just in case.
I would definitely encourage. No. What you're saying is spot on. I would encourage, and I will see if I can find a video where they talk about world banking. It's exactly what you're talking about. It actually, surprisingly, you can have bank accounts in other countries without a significant amount of money in them, and you don't have to be a citizen in all of these places. It's actually a really big deal. Some places you do have to have some type of citizenship or own some type of real estate to be able to use their banking. But you made a great point. It's about diversification. And I think even through all banks, I know at one point I used to have bank accounts with different banks because I found that I actually had benefits from different, and certain ones had some policies that were great for me because some banks had policies which actually are better for me to not have access to my money. So I had my savings, like my large savings in one bank where I needed 5 days before, and it helped me out because I know sometimes I'm making impulsive decisions and it's like, oh, if I had a couple of days, maybe I don't want the money. 4 days later, I'm like, oh, I don't even want to buy this thing. I know myself that way. And then I had another bank where I could quickly go and withdraw a larger amount of money if I needed to. So I really like your idea.
All right, guys. Again, please put in the comments, what are your thoughts? We love to hear them. Do you have any questions? Like, we'd love to hear what your questions are because we want to keep the conversation going. This is an important topic.
Let's do it. Absolutely. But guys, make sure you check out any episodes that we tag right there in the middle. I hope my finger doesn't disappear because my background, sorry, but right there in the middle. Go check out any of the videos that we put. Go check out some of our episodes from our Monday rundowns. You guys are going to absolutely love what we talk about there. It's outside of the scope of business, so it's a lot more. It can touch a lot of other areas of your life. But until we see you guys next time, as always, remember, you deserve the good life.
Say that.
We'll see you guys. Be well.